This is an overview video of how Super Mario Kart Gaslands works. This is the 0.4.1 rough draft rules period. I don't know if I'm going to be changing much before the final version, but it is what it is. I'm going to have mistakes in this video because I'm going to just do it once. My friend Chris had bought me a Mario Kart painting or picture for the wall. It looks really nice. This game is set up for a 6-player battle mode. So this isn't set up for a normal race, but this is kind of, as it's falling apart, kind of what it's going to look like. Each, there might be 3 separate teams. Normally there's more coins around the track, but I just didn't feel like it. In this game, each player is going to control a cart. They would choose a racer. Look at all this glare. They would choose a racer. So here I'm usually always Waluigi, and I have a lightweight cart. Over here, Donkey Kong's in a middleweight cart. Each player is going to start with 2 coins. You can use coins to do a couple different things. I'll sort of explain it as I go. It uses the regular Gaslands rules, so there are going to be templates and shift dice, and you're going to use some D6s for certain things, but most of the items are going to be Mario style, so there's not going to be machine guns or explosions or whatever like that. I'm just going to explain how the game works. In Gaslands, it operates a lot like how original Gaslands works. Here's what a more difficult track would look like. Those are some trophies. Over here is it shows Toad using a star and going to the finish line. In this track here, it's a battle mode, so there aren't going to be any start or finish lines. There's going to be you're going to have balloons, which I don't have anything representing that right now. Going to be hazard tokens. Here's the item stack. The gear dies on top of this castle that my friend Chris printed out for me. You can get all these templates from Etsy. I have in the book, or in the Facebook group, which is, I'll show you here, right in the middle of the page. There, it's a Facebook group you can join, and it has a lot of information. Over here is most of the items I had printed. I have bananas, bombs, red shells, green shells, and coins. Everything else really doesn't need a representation. I also have like a bullet bill, but I'll show you that in a later video. You're going to be, on your turn, you're going to be using templates. So the templates get placed down in front of the cart. You decide to roll dice, stuff like that. Table of contents here. I don't want to go page by page, but I'm just trying to give you an overview of how the game plays. So a normal track would look something like this. This is one of the originals I had before the castle was printed. You just go straight from this starting line. You take as many laps as whoever's running the game picks, and then you'll exit through the finish line over here. The bottom one is a track I have purchased. There's a little QR somewhere you can scan here if you really want to get one of these tracks. They're really nice, but it'll be, you don't know if you'll be able to read up. It's on the YouTube page, or it's on the Facebook page. But it's not too expensive, but this track will take you a while. So plan on a long game, where this track could be an hour for three racers, maybe for 2 laps, something like that. So it's going to be pretty similar to Gaslands in the base rules, but where it comes down to it, I made a lot of changes to make it feel more like the original Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo. So when it is your turn, you activate. First thing you can do is see if you're eligible. Right now it's Gear 1, so everybody's usually going to be eligible in Gear 1. In the movement step, first you can do flexible actions, which I'll explain later, but you can do some things before you move, like use coins or use some items before you pick your movement. So if I was Waluigi here, look, I would have to pick a template. So Waluigi, I didn't get the gear dice out, but let's say he's in gear 1. So he can choose any template with a 1 on it. So there's a lot of these. Usually it'll be a medium. So let's say he chooses the medium. Should be straighter. Places the medium in front of his cart. You put you have a notched end and a straight end on that template. Some of them are curved, has the notch in different places. So I place this template. Usually it's better to do with 2 hands. I like to use a hand to hold the cart steady, and then I place the template there. Then I decide if I want to roll dice. Normally I would have the gear die here. I have to forget to get out of the box. But he's handling 6, so we can roll 6 dice. You can not roll dice if you don't want to, but let's say he rolls. Here's a good example of something fun. You can use 1 hazard to re-roll all the stuff you don't want. So let's say he'll gain a hazard on his thing. Place a hazard on there to re-roll the dice he doesn't want. So, and a newer rule that I have in the game is once per turn you can cancel up to 2 dice. Shift results are good. Your template also gives you in first gear 1 shift result there. So he's got 1, 2, 3, plus 1 for the template, 4 shift results. He is going to cancel this spin, one of his free cancels. He's not going to use his other free cancel. Then he has 4 shifts, so he could. Let's do all the fun. So let's. He's going to shift up to gear 2. Whenever you shift up or shift down, you gain a hazard. He's going to use a shift to cancel that hazard. He's going to use a shift to gain a coin. So he's at 3 coins. Everybody starts with 2. Then he's going to slide and spin. So when you slide, you put this template here at the end of the notch, and then you would move to the end of the template. Now these templates are wider. The templates on the bottom of the carts, which you have to use for the game, are wider than the cart. So he's going to be centered on the template best you can. And then when you spin, move these templates out of the way, you can turn up to 90 degrees. And I could have started this way or that way. So let's say I started that way and I turn up to 90 degrees. So I'll turn to there. When I do that, I gain an item. I'll explain items in a second. When you gain an item in a regular race, it depends on what placement you were in. So first place can only use single items. So let's say I drew this single banana. You could do some things with that. I'll explain later. If you're second place, you would draw 2 and keep 1. Third place, fourth place, fifth place, sixth place, you're going to draw that many cards. If you're in 5th place, you'll draw 5 cards and keep 1, discarding the rest. After everybody passes the first gate, these super items, or they call them rare items, are added in. The star, the lightning, the mega mushroom, or the super mushroom, bullet bill, and spiny blue shell. Only the player that crosses the gates, I call them gates, even though in this one there's no gates, there's just the question strips. You cross a gate in last place, you have the option of drawing one of these. And if anybody else draws one of these, they discard them in a separate discard pile. Let's say I drew this banana. Now, after your movement step, you can do another. I'm just making sure you can do another flexible action. Let's say he'll use 3 coins here to boost. Boost is on this card somewhere. 1 coin, the 3 coins here, boost. He's going to move a short before or after your movement step. So he would just do this. Put this in front here. And then move to the end of it, collecting this coin. If you're ever on top of a coin, or a template's on top of a coin, as long as you move on that template far enough, he'd have that item. Then he could deploy that item, have all the fun. So I'm going to move him back to his original spot, which was right about there. I don't remember. So I'm trying to set this up for a. I'm going to run this game at Origins in 2026. So this is going to be the setup for Origins 2026. So after the movement step, there's an attack step. With a banana, you really can't attack with it. You can throw it ahead of you, a double, which would have been about to there. Or you can drop it behind you for a short. Actually, I can. Then there's a tack step, and then if you ever have 6 hazards at the end of your turn, you have to wipe out. At end of any turn, you'll wipe out. Then it's end of activation, and the next person can go. So that's kind of an overview of how you move. There are also things that turn you. Let's say I was in first gear and I wanted to turn. I would put this template down, roll dice if I want to roll dice. Then I would go to the end of the template. This is very close to the edge there, so next turn I am most likely going to hit that. Collisions will, depending on what kind of collision it is, you're usually going to bounce a short distance back. So if I would have hit that wall, I would have bounced to here and then face any direction I wish to face. A couple other little things happen. We'll go over that in the collision phase. Don't mind my heater. It's cold in Ohio right now. There's going to be coins along the track. These are some of the things you can do with coins. That's in page 9 of the rule book. These are the different carts I have, and this rule book is available on the Facebook page. Some things about dashboards. There's lightweight, medium weight, and heavyweight, and usually it's like the original Super Mario Kart. The heavyweights and the middle weights, you'll be able to bump around the people that are lighter than you. So heavyweights tend to have get to their high speed the fastest. This is a whole chapter on bumping, the different kinds of bumping. That's all in the book. You can read about it. I'll explain bumping a little bit more. Here's a different picture of that track without all the stuff on it. There's some more about bumping in here. Here's going to be the items. I'm going to go through over each item and how they're used in different videos, probably separate videos. But it's the basic items are banana, bomb, red shell, mushroom, and green shell. The red shell will home in the regular game, but in the battle thing that I have set up, the balloon battle, the red shells don't home, and there won't be any of the rare items. These the good ones in the game. A couple rules are different. Then there's triple items of each one of those, and then these are the descriptions of the rare items. I'm just kind of running through this book. Here's all the item keywords. Each one of the items are going to have keywords, and this is going to explain them in more detail. Thing about gates, drawing all the extra items I kind of explained before. Here is the breakdown of how many items of each are in the deck, and some little things about that. There are also going to be dangers on the track, like bullet bills, chain chomps, oil slicks, piranha plants, a whole bunch of other stuff I haven't added yet. There's going to be rough terrain and thwomps, and I'm working on a rainbow road track, so there's going to be objects on the road, like giant wooden crates and a whole bunch of things. Here's some of the different dangers I have printed out so far. I've got some sample tracks I just kind of made. They're easy. Then I have alternate game modes. Right now it's set up for a battle mode. It's on page 30 of the rule book. And there's coin rush, and then we have teams, and time trial, avoiding the obstacles. Then there's Castle Cup. You can do Castle Cup with any mode. If you want to have a tournament of balloon battles, go right ahead. Then I have notes for the Game Master, some of the special rules. This is a big departure from Gaslands. The red line rule, which I will be using in my Gaslands games from now on. The big thing about Gaslands that gives it a problem. First of all, you can have a 4-hour race where no one makes it past the first turn after everybody gets their weapons unlocked because of all the explosions and chain reactions and all that. This game doesn't have that. Red line lets you jump right back into the race as long as you're, let's say, a lightweight cart has a maximum gear of 4. If it is on gear 5, like that, then the lightweight cart isn't eligible. But if it was, let's say, on gear 4, I went to stop and got some dice. So if the main gear phase is 4 and you're on 1, you can gain 4 hazards or hazards like so to match the gear die, and then continue your turn as normal. That's a huge departure from Gaslands. I have balanced that by whenever you wipe out, you have to basically skip your next eligible activation. So if I was in gear 1 and in the other die was in gear 3, the main die, I'd have to skip gear 3 and then have the option of activating in gear 4. That's what this whole eligibility paragraph is. And I had to kind of make it ironclad. So it seems like a lot of steps, but you play it once, you make it through there once, and then it becomes second nature. There's also ram attacks, and when you hit a wall, I was having a lot of people using the walls instead of turning, like as a advantage. So now when you hit a wall, you raise hazards to 5. So if I bounced off that building like I did earlier, or I run into one of these walls here, or a side wall, or a gate, something that's indestructible, then you would bounce off the wall, face whatever direction you wish, and then you would have 5 hazards. So it's really risky to drive around with 5 hazards. One bad roll and you're wiping out. You have an option to skip a turn and remove all your hazards. That's also something new. Dash panels, I haven't printed any out yet, but they work. This game has been tested and tested and tested, so I've had a lot of games. I've played a lot. This is a picture of the thing I have over there printed. This is another one of this is a large player count. This is a large player count battle mode in the middle. I could play 12 on that map, maybe 14. It's huge. This map is not so big. It's only maybe 3x2, I think. And I used all these 3D printed things I had for a. This is all magnetized. This is on a metal sheet and it's attached to a wooden board. This is stuff I had for a role-playing game. It's like, let me just use it. So, I enjoy battle mode probably the best, and it's the quickest way to play the game. And I have a reference for all the keywords at the end of the book, and then I have a reference for all the items. I'm not sure if this is all the way updated. I kind of rushed out the .4 rules because I had the idea for red line in the .3 rules, and then the .4 came soon after. So when you grab an item card, it goes, because I'm just put it up over your item thing, and then when you pass through a gate, you have the option of grabbing a new item or keeping what you have. Trying to think of anything else. I don't know. This game is meant to be fun, not meant to be. That's why I have every cart's on a base, because in Gaslands there was a lot of finagling. Well, I was like, I'm going to build this car with this and this or that, or build it a certain way to get an advantage, because if you've got a longer car, you'll end up moving further because it's just the base plus the car. So everybody's on a standard size base. It's in the books. They're on 3mm tall. I can give you the dimensions if I look them up, but just the game is meant for fun, not it's not for sale. Everything is available. I don't want any money. Don't try to send me money or anything. It is a fan-made Super Mario Kart Gaslands rules. It's based on this Super Mario Kart, not any of the newer ones. Some of the items that I have in this weren't in this game, but there's going to be no jumping, none of this other stuff. When you get into jumping with a game that uses templates, it gets to be a headache. Maybe an expansion if I ever do that. So I'm going to plan on running this at Origins 2026 in games of 6 players, probably 3 teams of 2 with maybe 4 balloons. And it should take about 2 hours, but I'm going to give it a 4-hour time slot. If there's anything else you need to know or whatever, just let me know. Have a good day.